No one in Sprindle, Ohio, ever expected a story like this to unfold in their neighborhood. And honestly, if the camera hadn't been recording that day, no one would have believed what the family's macaw did to save the baby. It all began with a scream, so loud it echoed through the house like a fire alarm. Before you continue watching, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss a story like this. And tell us in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is there. Help! Baby! The voice was sharp, urgent, and filled with panic. The mother dropped what she was holding and ran toward the living room, her heart pounding so hard she could barely breathe. She had no idea whether she was about to step into a nightmare or something even stranger. But that moment didn't come out of nowhere. It began months earlier, on the day the parents brought their newborn daughter, Lily, home for the first time. As soon as they walked in, their macaw, Mango, lifted his head and stared intently with bright, curious eyes. He didn't squawk, he didn't flap his wings, he simply watched, paying close attention to the tiny little human wrapped in a soft blanket. When Lily let out a small sound, almost like a sigh, Mango leaned forward on his perch. He tapped his beak softly, almost as if he were responding to her. The father laughed and said he'd never seen the bird so serious before. From that day on, Mango began following Lily's every move. He stayed near her crib, near her playmat, near her wherever she was. At first, the parents thought it was just a new fascination, but it became something more. Mango began imitating Lily's happy sounds. When she giggled, he made a soft chirp that almost sounded like laughter. When she woke up in the morning, he gently repeated her tiny baby noises. As if greeting her. It didn't take long before Mango learned her name. One morning, the mother whispered, "Good morning, Lily." Mango tilted his head. "Lily," he repeated slowly. Then again clearer the next time. From that moment, he said her name every morning. Sometimes he whispered it while she slept. Other times, he called to her when she moved or made small noises in her crib. It was as if her name had become part of him. But week after week, Mango's behavior became more focused. He didn't just like the baby, he acted like he had a job. A job he took very seriously. At first, the parents thought it was cute. But none of them knew Mango was noticing things they couldn't see. None of them understood what he was preparing for. And soon, everything would change. As the weeks passed, Mango's bond with Lily grew stronger. And the parents couldn't help noticing how attentively he watched her. If she moved, he noticed. If she sighed, he leaned closer. If she laughed, he chirped with pride. It was sweet, sometimes even funny, but there were moments that made the parents exchange uneasy glances. It started with small things. Mango refused to leave the room whenever Lily was sleeping. If the parents tried to move him to another part of the house, he flapped his wings and squawked until they brought him back. Then he began studying the crib from every angle. He perched on the railing and stared at Lily for long stretches of time without making a sound. His eyes never left her. One night the father commented that there was something strange about it. The mother brushed it off at first. She believed Mango simply adored the baby and wanted to stay close to her. But she couldn't ignore it anymore when his behavior intensified. One afternoon, while Lily slept, Mango suddenly dove down and began pecking rapidly at the blanket near her leg. Fast, precise pecks. The parents rushed over, unsure if he was playing or warning them. They lifted the blanket but found nothing unusual. Their worry grew. On another day, Mango let out a loud, sharp scream right beside the crib. He repeated Lily's name over and over, each time louder. The baby woke up frightened and began crying. The father picked Mango up and immediately noticed how puffed up his feathers were, how wide and alert his eyes looked, as if he were trying to fight something only he could sense. The parents didn't know what to think. Was Mango jealous? Overprotective? Confused? They couldn't tell. he refused to leave Lily's side, even when they tried to move him. He grew restless whenever anyone came too close to the crib. His wings twitched. His eyes followed every movement near her. The parents talked late into the night. The father thought they should move Mango to another room before something went wrong. The mother wasn't convinced, but even she had begun to feel uneasy. Something about Mango's behavior didn't match the playful bird she knew. Something had changed, and they didn't understand why. But before they could decide what to do, before they could even fully talk about it, something happened that finally made everything make sense and proved Mango's strange behavior had never been strange at all. The next night was calm, almost too calm. Lily had finally fallen asleep after a long, busy day. The mother went to the kitchen to heat dinner while the father folded laundry in the hallway. The house was quiet, except for the soft hum of the baby monitor. Mango sat in his usual spot beside the crib, his feathers smooth but his eyes alert, watching every gentle rise and fall of Lily's chest. Then something changed in the room. It was small, almost silent, the kind of thing no adult would notice while doing chores. But Mango noticed. Above the crib hung a small mobile with colorful shapes. One of the shapes, a little plastic star, had loosened from its string. At first, it only wobbled slightly. Then it tilted lower than before. Mango's head snapped toward the star. He stared at it, blinking slowly, trying to understand what was happening. The star dipped again, lower than the last time. Mango stepped closer to the crib. His wings tensed. His body stiffened. He let out a single sharp chirp, too soft and too quick for anyone in the house to hear. Then the star dipped even lower. Mango moved instantly. He shot into the air like something inside him had been activated. His wings beat rapidly as he flew above Lily, watching the star swing dangerously close to her face. "Baby! Baby!" he screamed, louder than he had ever screamed in his life. The mother froze in the kitchen. She had heard Mango talk hundreds of times, but never like this. This wasn't play or excitement. This was a warning. The star finally broke free from the string and fell toward Lily's head, slowly but steadily. Mango dove with a fierce cry. The star grazed Lily's cheek and landed beside her. She woke with a frightened gasp. Mango screamed again. "Baby! Baby, my!" His voice grew more desperate each second as he jumped toward the crib railing, flapping violently like he was trying to push the danger away. The mother ran toward the nursery, breath caught in her throat. When she reached the doorway, she saw Lily crying, the fallen toy beside her, and Mango still screaming for help. His wings were spread wide, his entire tiny body positioned between the baby and the object, as if shielding her from something far bigger. The mother grabbed Lily and held her tight. Only then did Mango step back, trembling from the effort of screaming so loudly. He looked at the mother with wide, shaken eyes. And for the first time, she understood. Every strange moment from the past weeks had meant something completely different. Don't be afraid. It wasn't jealousy. It wasn't aggression. He had been trying to protect Lily the entire time. And this wasn't his last act of courage. It was only the beginning. After that night, everything felt different. The parents couldn't stop thinking about what they had witnessed. Mango hadn't just reacted. He sensed the danger before it happened. He tried to warn them in every way he knew. The mother felt a mix of guilt and relief. She replayed the last weeks in her mind, remembering all the moments she dismissed as strange or annoying. Now, each of those moments made painful sense. Mango stayed near Lily for the rest of the night, but he didn't squawk or flap. He was calm, almost gentle, as if he knew the danger had passed. When Lily fell asleep again, Mango leaned close and made a soft sound, almost like a lullaby. The parents watched from the doorway, unsure whether they should remove him or let him stay. In the end, they didn't move him. They let him stay where he clearly felt he needed to be. The following days were peaceful. Mango remained alert, but not tense. He stayed near Lily's crib, but the strange stares and sudden cries had stopped. He seemed relieved, understood. Like he no longer needed to fight for their attention. The parents slowly began to trust him again. But Mango still had one more act of protection left. One cold afternoon, the mother laid Lily down for a nap and wrapped her in a thin blanket. She didn't notice that Lily's movements gradually pulled the blanket up each time she rubbed her face. But Mango noticed. From his spot near the window, he watched the blanket rise higher as Lily shifted. Minutes later, it reached her nose. Then, slowly, covered her entire face. Mango's feathers bristled. He flew straight to the crib. He landed quietly on the railing, leaned forward, and studied Lily's tiny face hidden beneath the blanket. He stepped closer. Lily made a muffled sound but didn't wake. Mango grabbed the edge of the blanket with his beak. Not too hard, just enough to pull it downward. It didn't move. He pulled again, stronger. Slowly. The blanket slid down until Lily's nose and mouth were free again. Mango released the fabric and watched her breathing return to normal. Only then did he relax. He tapped his beak softly on the crib railing and whispered, "Good girl. Lily, good girl." A few minutes later, the mother returned and froze. The blanket wasn't where she had left it. Mango was sitting beside Lily, feathers soft, eyes calm and gentle. She understood immediately. He had saved her daughter again. This time she didn't doubt him for a second. She stepped forward, touched his head gently, and whispered, "Thank you." Mango blinked slowly, as if he understood. From that moment on, the parents never questioned his behavior again. They never tried to move him away. They never doubted his intentions. They trusted him fully, but they still had no idea that the most incredible part of Mango and Lily's bond was yet to come. The months that followed were filled with moments the family wished they could freeze in time. Lily grew stronger, louder, more curious, and Mango stayed by her side through every milestone. When she learned to sit, Mango chirped encouragement. When she began to crawl, he walked beside her, step by step, making sure she didn't bump into anything. He even learned a soft tune that made her laugh every single time. The parents often sat on the couch watching them, amazed by the natural bond between them. Lily would reach out her tiny hands, and Mango would gently lower his head so she could touch his feathers. She trusted him completely, and in his own way, Mango trusted her too. As Lily grew older, she began to repeat the sounds she heard around her. One afternoon, she looked at Mango and spoke her first clear word, "Mango." The bird stopped, stared at her. Then let out a joyful whistle that echoed through the room. The parents laughed in disbelief. For a moment, the house felt warmer than ever. They knew then that Mango wasn't just a pet. He wasn't just a bird that learned words. He was family connected to Lily in a way no one else could replace. The parents sometimes thought back to those weeks when Mango acted strangely. At the time, they were scared, uncertain, confused. But now they understood. Everything he did, every stare, every cry, every loud warning came from love. He protected Lily before she could protect herself. He saw what they didn't. He acted when they froze. Twice. He saved her life. And when the camera finally captured what he did, there was no doubt left. Today, Lily's laughter and Mango's cheerful voice filled the house every morning. They have their own language, their own rhythm, their own trust, and anyone who sees them together knows one simple truth. Some bonds don't need explanation. They just happen. Thank you so much for listening to this story. If you were Lily's parent and saw Mango acting strangely around your baby, would you trust him or keep him away? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story, Don't forget to like and subscribe. We appreciate your presence and hope to see you in the next video.